So in Chapter 10, we're going to determine what policy option that we're going to recommend. So you've put together all your analysis of your 4Es, but there's still some questions that you want to ask yourself before you decide what policy option you're going to recommend to that policymaker. So the first question you want to ask yourself is, pretend you're actually making your pitch to the policymaker. What questions do you think they are likely to have about the policy option that comes out of your analysis? Have you really answered those questions? Or is it something where you need to do maybe a bit of backtracking and go back to whichever the 4Es your policymaker's questions are about, and maybe refine your analysis a bit further? The second action I recommend people do is to imagine that you're now talking to the policymaker, you've made your pitch, and they say, that's a great idea. Would you mind coming on my staff and implementing that policy? I'd like you to begin doing that tomorrow. This is another good step to say, okay, well, what do I need to know? What would I want to know before I actually implemented the policy? It's a realistic way to go from an abstract concept of a policy, like our transportation voucher, for example, to thinking about how you would actually implement it. What would you do? Step 1, step 2, step 3. And that will also help you think about the different policy options and how realistic they really are. And how are you really ready for that analysis to be completed and for you to make that recommendation to your policymaker? So the last step is to contact a friend, a relative, the classic ask your mom, your grandma, somebody who really is going to ask you hard questions and be a devil's advocate and really challenge you on your policy. So as you're making your pitch for it and you talk through it, does it really stand up? Is it something that really has credibility, that really makes sense to you? And once you have done these 3 steps and you look at your analysis, you're ready to pick the policy option that you're going to recommend to the policymaker. In our case of the Women with Infants and Children program, we had the status quo, the chief challenge being that 40% of the women eligible for the program do not apply for the program. We have our digital option, in which case we are allowing applicants for the program to apply online. And we have our last option, which is the transportation voucher. And based on our analysis of the 4Es, the best option turns out to be the digital benefit option. The reason that the digital option is best is for a number of reasons. From an effectiveness standpoint, it's been shown to be effective in a number of states. From an efficiency standpoint, the benefits of the program outweigh the cost. From an equity standpoint, we are able to benefit the most people, even though we do still have the challenge that we will not be helping women who are in rural areas or those without internet access of some kind. And then we have the fourth option, which is ease of political acceptability. And in that case, we have information that shows it has worked in other locations, which increases the likelihood of acceptance of the program by the key stakeholders and policymakers in the field. So that is our final recommendation. In our last step, we'll learn how to communicate the results of our analysis to policymakers.